Hey, what's going on, family? This is Ty from No Picks Podcast. So this podcast is about the whole beef between Stephen A. Smith and Jasmine Crockett, Texas Congresswoman. Um, she's always in the media. Apparently, they have a beef going on, so I want to play it and react to it periodically. All right, so let's start it from Stephen A.'s perspective.
Compelled to come on the air a little bit earlier this week after what I've had to endure this weekend. What I had to endure this weekend were an abundance of people talking a whole lot of stuff about me because they did not like what I had to say about Representative Jasmine Crockett. She is a Democrat out of Texas, Texas's 30th congressional district. Her work, and her verbiage and all of that stuff speaks for itself. And she has become, a big time public figure in essence, not just as a representative, but speaking out on a plethora of issues involving the current administration and the White House, et cetera, et cetera. And I made some noise last week because I had the temerity, the unmitigated gall to say this about Representative Crockett when talking about the state of our politics in the midst of a government shutdown, by the way, that has unfolded since October 1st. Take a listen to what I had to say last week, please. You Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how a Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it here. I think his first problem is that he doesn't understand. Well, he does understand, I'm sure, but the agenda for somebody like Jasmine Crockett or any other Democrat right now in Congress isn't to work with Donald Trump, the president. It's to just be a thorn in his side. Whether it's maybe it's not even a real thorn. Maybe it's just an imaginary thorn. Right, because I don't think they're really doing anything to hurt him, really, to be honest, even during his government shutdown. I don't think it's hurting him, right? Maybe it's hurting them both equally, but I don't think the Republicans are taking a disproportionate share of the blame, right? So his issue is that he's thinking that, hey, you know what? You should be doing, people like Jasmine Crockett and her ilk should be doing things to, work with the president and do X, Y, and Z, but they have no interest in working with the president. They only have an interest in the entire Democratic Party right now is just an opposition party to Donald Trump and the Republicans. So they don't have any interest in working with them, right? So, I mean, they never had any interest in working with him. So, I mean, I think he's coming at it from a legit, like a logic standpoint. Like, okay, well, Donald Trump won a presidency. You don't like Donald Trump, but you still got to work with him. So you got to, be an adult and talk to him in his cabinet or whoever, even people that you don't like, in a way to where your constituents could still benefit. But they're not. The Democrats right now aren't interested in talking to him in any kind of way. As long as they say bad things about him and make him sound crazy, or but at least within their group sound crazy, that's all they need. They don't really need anything done because they don't. That's not important. That's not important to them right now. So, I mean, I understand what Stephen A is saying, and it makes sense. But the Democrats don't really care about that right now. They just care about just being whatever Trump wants. They don't want. If Trump comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? I think everybody should get a free house. They'll be like, nah, I think everybody should be homeless. Like it's irrelevant at this point. Like they just whatever Donald Trump wants, they want the opposite, and that's just what it is. So
I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple, but it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated. Damn, it's frustrating. It really can be. And all the verbiage and all the nonsense that I've heard over the last few days is why it can get exhausting. Because nothing frustrates me more than when people have the truth at their disposal and they choose maybe not lie, maybe not even embellish, but allow their emotions to usurp facts, and all of a sudden want to use that as an excuse to label me as being something and doing something I'm neither not nor have I done, which in this case is disrespecting Representative Crockett out of Texas, who, by the way, has had an invite to this show for weeks, by the way. Governors Josh Shapiro and Spencer Cox came on this show. Senator Lindsey Graham came on this show. Joe Manchin, now retired, came on this show. Bill O'Reilly, Bill Maher came on this show. Okay? And more coming. And she has an invite. And AOC has an invite. Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic House Leader, he just was on this show. I've invited Jasmine Crockett. I have nothing but respect for her. I just disagree on what she's making headlines for, because I think it's counterproductive to the ultimate goal. But yet, here we are. And the word...
It's not, though. It's not counterproductive to her ultimate goal or their ultimate goal. The Democratic Party, the Democratic Party's ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to just be against Trump. It's not to do shit. It's not to be productive in the U.S. Congress. It's just to be anti-Trump. Right. And I'm not picking on her. I think when Mitch McConnell was, Senate leader, his whole job was just to be, an adversary to Barack Obama. Right. So but in her case, who has a lot less power than Mitch McConnell has, she doesn't care about, what's going on. She's just like, yo, Trump sucks. No matter what he does, he sucks. Her whole identity is to be anti-Trump. So I don't know what the hell they're going to do after Trump leaves office, because like y'all whole identity for the last 4 years have been, we hate Trump. We hate everything that Donald Trump offers. No matter what, we're not working with Trump. And if you like Trump, you're a racist. Yeah. So
disrespect comes in and people try to engage with words, like disrespect and implying misogyny and all of this other nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Can we be grown-ups and deal with what the real issue is involving what I said? Willie D, Roland Martin, Bakari Sellers, and Angela Rye, who I have profound respect for. I mean, the list goes on and on with all of these people. I don't have their names in front of me. To my producer that texted it to me, I don't have my phone on me right now, so I apologize for not having those names in front of me. But I'm what are we talking about? How's it disrespectful to say what I said? Could you just disagree? Could we just say, yo, Stephen A., I disagree with you. Here's why. We got Willie D. Put up that quote, please. He's putting out quotes or text or tweets about me. Let's see that again. Stephen A. Smith taking shots at Jasmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America, and instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a black woman who's out here putting in real work. That ain't critique, that's betrayal. Jasmine Crockett ain't the problem. She's the kind of woman who walks into rooms full of snakes and makes the snakes flinch. Meanwhile, Stephen's showing what happens when a paycheck gets louder than the principal. That's sucker shit, straight up, end quote. Wow, Willie D.
Let me say this. The reason that Stephen A. is receiving so much flack within the black community, right? He's going to pull up a bunch of different black people talking about, him quote unquote disrespecting, because what he said wasn't disrespect, but let's just in our community, let's say it's disrespect, right? The problem is in our community, in the black community, we live under a matriarchy, right? So if you have a black woman who appears to be smart or is smart, right, and she has a level of success, no matter what, you're supposed to defer to her. You're not supposed to disagree. You're not supposed to be like, hey, you know what about this point? What about that point? In general, take the success part out of it. In the black community, we're different than other communities because black women rank at the top of our community. So it's black woman, black man, then kids. So if you have and to use Stephen A's phrase, the unmitigated gall to call out a black woman as a black man or not support a black woman as a black man, you are the lowest of the low in our community. You are scum, which is different from any other community. Whites, Asians, Hispanics, whatever. The men are the top dogs, but in our community, the women are the top dogs. So it's such a slap in the face, and we're just bred to believe it, right? Like it's just such a slap in the face for a black man like Stephen A to say anything critical of a black woman like Jasmine Crockett, because Jasmine Crockett is ranked higher than Stephen A. Smith in our community. And maybe it's something that Willie D doesn't notice. Maybe Roland Martin don't notice. But it's like people are like, how dare you be critical of this successful black woman? You should defer to her. I can't tell you the amount of times within a black family, if anyone knows a black man who supported Trump, he's looked at by other black men and black women as a scumbag. Straight up. That's just what it is. And the reason is because in our community, you're not supposed to question black women, especially black women with some kind of power and education and authority. You should just defer as a black man, regardless of your success level, right? Stephen A is far more successful than Jasmine Crockett, but that's irrelevant. Jasmine Crockett is the top dog compared to Stephen A Smith because she's a black woman. Because she's a black woman, Stephen A Smith should just be kissing her ass. That's what's offensive. That's why he's catching flack.
You sure are uplifting. I mean, I got to be touched. That was inspirational. Really, that really, really was. That was inspirational. I'm doing sucker shit. That's what you call inspirational? That's what you call uplifting? Really? Now, I haven't heard everything that Roland Martin said, D.L. Hughley had to say, and all the other names that I mentioned, but I'm sure it's along the same lines. Nothing but respect. First of all, I'm going to be very, very careful about anything that I say about Roland Martin because he's a friend. I'm going to be careful about anything that I say about D.L. Hughley because I have respect for that man. We've spoken a few months ago. I got nothing but love for him. I am concerned about him not making people laugh and smile as much anymore as he used to because he's more of an activist now than a comedian, but that's a choice and that's his right, and nothing but love for him and respect. And anybody else too. My issue with Bakari Sellers is how he talked about me without ever speaking out or reaching out because you don't like a position that I took before or whatever, but you wanted to come on and sell your book after. See, I don't play that nonsense. I don't like that. Disagree with what I said. Say why without all the other nonsense. Got enough respect. Willie D got over 1 million subscribers. Man, props to you. Doing your thing. Wishing you nothing but the best. Not getting into all that nonsense. But let's deal with what I was saying, please. Can we do that? Can we be real? So let's take it.
It doesn't matter. What you were saying is irrelevant. You were critical of a successful black woman. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's what you're guilty of. That's what you're guilty of, bro. Like, they don't care about the substance. You said nothing in that in the earlier clip that I showed that was disrespectful in any way. It doesn't matter. You weren't kissing her ass and kissing the ring, which means to them you were disrespectful. And it's because she's a black woman and you're a black man. You need to defer to her. That's it. That's really the crux of this whole discussion and this whole disagreement.
Let's take it back. Let's look at the resume of Jasmine Crockett, 30th Congressional District, By the way, the two senators that represent Texas is Senator John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, both Republicans. I'm so surprised. Okay. So you got them in Texas and they're doing their thing, right? What are we talking about here in terms of Jasmine Crockett's district? 750,000 North Texans. Texas's 30th congressional district, vibrant community in the heart of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That's the area she represents as a congressional representative. Earned her BA in business administration from Rhodes College and a JD from the University of Houston. She's licensed to practice.
Now this nigga got to kiss the ring. Now he got to kiss ass. He got to go super hard. He probably about to go the next, I don't know, what was 40 minutes left in his podcast. He about to go the next 35 minutes kissing ass probably. So if this lasts for another minute, I'm gonna get up out of here and this is gonna be the end of it. But he got to kiss ass. Now he know what time he know he stepped in it. Because within our community, you cannot say anything other than black woman, right? Black woman, God, black woman is everything. Everything else is the universe, the sun, and the stars. You can't say it. If you do say it, men will get at you and women will get at you because we've been so conditioned to kiss ass as black men. It's like, yo, how dare you come at your superior, you scumbag. So I'm hoping he don't kiss ass for the next couple minutes, but he got about 30 seconds about me, and then I'll get up out of here.
Practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. So this is an accomplished, well-educated woman. Ain't nothing about her stupid. Ain't nothing about her something to dismiss or disrespect when it comes to her resume. Let's get that out of the way so as to make sure I'm not being disrespectful when we're talking about her, okay? What's her reputation? Crockett's performance in the House, according to research, and her success in delivering wins for her district is quote unquote mixed. She's active, ambitious, and visible, exceptional when it comes to fundraising. But many of her major efforts are still works in progress, bills stuck in committees, introduced but have stalled, etc., according to Congress.gov. I'm just reading. She faced similar going to get her and the people she represents in the 30th.
Change your opinion anyway.
No, it doesn't change my opinion.
So that's the first clip. There's a president.
Commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations of the white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any
No,
way?
it doesn't change my opinion.
So that's the first clip. There's a president in the United States that you're calling a white supremacist, and you're saying that the people who work under him are that as well. While you're in the government needing assistance from that administration to get things done for your constituency and beyond. Okay, that's clip number one. Play clip number two, please. A full-fledged criminal. Play that, please.
Not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
So you care about facts, meaning the Democrats, and the Republicans don't. Okay. That's another clip. And by the way, full-fledged criminal and thug. Those were words. How about this one, where she called the president a piece of shit? Play it.
Because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, yes. He is. He is. He is.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. That's what she said. That's the third one. There's another one here where she's talking about how the GOP doesn't care about facts, but the Democrats do. You just heard that. There was also another one where she called them again a white supremacist. But it didn't just stop there. She went to her own governor of the state of Texas, who's in a wheelchair, by the way. Keep that in mind. And listen to what she said about him.
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Governor Hot Wheels. And the only thing that is hot about him is that he's a hot ass mess.
I'm sure she doesn't consider that disrespectful. Calling a dude in a wheelchair Hot Wheels.
And that's going to serve 750,000 constituency in the 30th District of Texas. That is what I was saying. Never mind what she feels. Never mind whatever level of justification you may have towards feeling the way that you feel. When you're in her position, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was saying. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you're at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures.
All right. I'm going to stop it there because this goes on for like 20 more minutes. I don't want to make it this long. But Stephen A., this is the issue, bro. As black men, we rank lower than black women. So if you say anything critical about a black woman who's earned success, you will never win that argument. Black men have been criticized for not full-throatedly supporting Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. It doesn't matter what the facts are, whether we believe or not. We were just supposed to shut the F up and vote for Kamala Harris, which I did not. I voted for Donald Trump because I thought she was a ridiculous candidate. Because of that, I get looked at in certain circles a different way. The reason is because I should have voted for her because she's a black woman. And as a black woman, she ranks higher than me. She's more everything than me. So I should have just deferred to her, regardless of the fact that she never made any sense in any of her interviews ever. Doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. The facts are she has to even if you take the success out, black woman versus black man ranks higher than black man in black society. So if you put a black woman and, give her a degree and make her a lawyer and put her in the Senate and all that shit, she is literally God. You got to shut the F up and kiss the ring and vote for her, regardless of what she says. And if you don't, you're the problem, not her. That's the problem, Stephen A. Our culture is different than every other culture, to where we live in a matriarchy. And as men, we've just been raised by strong black women our whole life. We just suck it up and we deal with it. We just be like, all right, cool, it is what it is. So we even live with it. So Willie D don't notice that he living under a matriarchy. Willie D don't know, like it's just, you made the cardinal mistake of publicly criticizing a black woman that's successful. And that's it. You're a scumbag. You scum of the earth. I don't know, you shouldn't be having a mic. You shouldn't, I heard other people talking about you saying other crazy things. You raised valid concerns. If she was a white woman, you would be cool. You would be crushing the game. It would all make sense. If she was Indian, if she was anything else other than a black woman, you would be killing it and crushing the game. She's a black woman. So she gets the benefit of the doubt, regardless of what she says or does, because she ranks higher than you within our community. And that's just the bottom line. Sorry to say it. I agree with you. I think she sounds ridiculous. But listen, I ain't you, so it is what it is. And it sucks, but it is what it is. Anyway, let me know what y'all think, family. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?